Washington, D.C. is the capital of America, but Philadelphia is America's true capital. This is the city where the Declaration of Independence was signed, where the Constitution was written, where the Liberty Bell rang out across a continent that had decided to be free. In 2026, the year America turns 250, the New York Times named Philadelphia the #1 place to visit in the entire world. And if you have never been, this video is going to show you exactly why. This is Wishspots, let's go. Philadelphia sits between two rivers, the Delaware and the Schuylkill, in the heart of the American Northeast, halfway between New York and Washington, D.C. It was founded in 1682 by William Penn, an Englishman who came to America with a single mission: to build a city where people of every religion and background could live without persecution. He called it Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Penn planned the city as a grid of broad streets between the two rivers, a design so logical and so replicable that it became the template for virtually every American city that came after it. Before Philadelphia, there was no blueprint for what an American city could look like. After Philadelphia, every other city knew exactly where to start. Today, Philadelphia is home to 1.5 million people, with 6 million more in the surrounding metro area. Its skyline is anchored by the Comcast Technology Center, the tallest building in Pennsylvania, and the extraordinary Victorian City Hall, whose tower was once the tallest structure in the city by law, topped by a bronze statue of William Penn watching over the streets he designed. From above, Philadelphia looks exactly like what it is, the original American city, the one that started everything. Walk south from City Hall and you enter the most historically significant square mile in the United States, Independence Hall, completed in 1753. This is the building where the Declaration of Independence was debated, drafted, and signed on August 2nd, 1776, where the Constitution of the United States was written and adopted in 1787, two documents that changed the world, both produced in this single red brick building in Philadelphia. Across the street, the Liberty Bell sits in its own pavilion, cracked and silent now, but still carrying the weight of everything it represents. It rang on July 8, 1776, when the Declaration of Independence was read aloud to the citizens of Philadelphia for the first time. The crack appeared sometime in the 19th century. Nobody is completely certain when. Walk one block north and you enter Old City, the section of Philadelphia with the most preserved colonial architecture in America. Elfreth's Alley is the oldest continuously inhabited residential street in the United States, dating to 1703. 32 houses. People have lived in them without interruption for over 320 years. Standing on Elfreth's Alley in 2026, you are standing on a street that looked almost exactly like this before the United States of America existed. That is what Philadelphia offers that no other American city can. Not a museum, not a reconstruction, the actual thing. Philadelphia's downtown is what they call Center City, and unlike the downtowns of other American cities, this one was built for people, not cars. At its center stands Philadelphia City Hall, the second tallest masonry building in the world, completed in 1901 after 30 years of construction. Its tower rises 548 feet above Penn Square, the same square William Penn marked as the heart of his city in 1682. For generations, no building in Philadelphia was permitted to rise above the brim of the hat on the statue of Penn at the top. That law was eventually changed, but the statue still watches over the city from above as it always has. Just steps away is Love Park, officially John F. Kennedy Plaza, an urban gathering space centered around Robert Indiana's iconic Love sculpture, one of the most reproduced artworks in American history. The plaza's fountain and open space have made it a natural meeting point for every generation of Philadelphians since it opened. Running south from City Hall is Broad Street, the Avenue of the Arts, home to the Academy of Music, the oldest grand opera house in America still used for its original purpose, the Kimmel Center for the Performing Arts, and a concentration of theaters and performance venues that makes Philadelphia one of the great live performance cities in the United States. Follow Benjamin Franklin Parkway northwest from City Hall, and the city opens up into one of the most beautiful urban boulevards in America. The parkway was designed in the early 20th century, inspired by the Champs-Élysées in Paris, a diagonal cut through Philadelphia's grid connecting the cultural institutions of the city in a single ceremonial avenue. At its western end, rising above the Schuylkill River on a dramatic hillside, stands the Philadelphia Museum of Art. The museum holds over 240,000 works of art spanning 2,000 years of human creativity, one of the largest and most distinguished art collections in the United States. Its grand neoclassical facade, approached by 72 stone steps, has become one of the most famous staircases in the world, not because of what hangs inside, but because of a fictional boxer named Rocky Balboa, who ran up them in 1976 and threw his fists in the air at the top, the Rocky Steps, the Rocky statue at the base of the museum. Both of them have been drawing visitors to the Philadelphia Museum of Art for nearly 50 years. Most of those visitors end up going inside, and most of them leave talking about the paintings, not the steps. Along the parkway, Logan Square offers one of the great public fountain experiences in any American city, the Swan Memorial Fountain, surrounded by the Free Library of Philadelphia, the Franklin Institute, and the Cathedral Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul, whose copper dome has watched over this square since 1864. Pull back from the historic streets, and Philadelphia reveals its natural beauty. Fairmount Park stretches along both banks of the Schuylkill River for over 2,000 acres, one of the largest urban park systems in the United States. Boathouse Row, along the east bank of the river, is a line of 15 Victorian boathouses that has housed Philadelphia's rowing culture since the 1850s. At night, each boathouse is outlined in lights that reflect in the dark water below, one of the most distinctive and photographed sights in the city. On the eastern edge of the city, Penn's Landing along the Delaware River is Philadelphia's waterfront connection to the rest of the world. This is where William Penn first stepped ashore in 1682 to claim the land he had been granted. Today, it hosts festivals, concerts, and outdoor events that draw over 2 million visitors every year. From Penn's Landing, the Benjamin Franklin Bridge spans the Delaware River to New Jersey, a suspension bridge completed in 1926 that remains one of the great engineering achievements of its era. Its blue cables and towers frame the Philadelphia skyline in every photograph taken from the New Jersey side of the river, a constant reminder that this city has always been connected to the world beyond it. The Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Liberty Bell, the first American city, the oldest residential street. Every list of American firsts runs through Philadelphia, because America ran through Philadelphia first. In 2026, the world is paying attention to a city that has been quietly carrying the weight of American history for 250 years. The New York Times put it first on its list of places to visit in the world. The BBC called it a city brimming with history, creativity, and pride. And 42 million visitors a year are discovering what the founders already knew. There is no city in America quite like Philadelphia. There never has been, because Philadelphia is not a city that happened to be important. Philadelphia is a city that made importance possible. This is America's true capital, and 2026 is its year. This is Wishspots. We will see you at the next wonder.